Hey nerds, it's time for a perception check. Hello and welcome to Perception Check. This is your Dungeons & Dragons podcast dedicated to mental health awareness and suicide prevention. We have again with us Mike
Jimenez.
Mike Jimenez, welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having me.
I thank you for inviting me back to your lovely room here.
My humble abode.
Your humble abode. I'll post some more pictures this time and post it to the Instagram account and go from there.
Awesome. Yeah, that's our biggest social is Instagram. We do Facebook too, but our engagement is way better on Insta.
Yeah.
So.
I tried the whole Twitter/X thing, and it's not a good platform. If I'm being honest, it's kind of boring.
It takes time. I'm on it, but I don't pay attention to it. I don't do anything with it. So
I feel you. We're going to start off with some rapid fire questions.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. In no particular order, of course, but might as well just go from top to bottom.
We like chaos. Let's go.
Love chaos. Yes or no?
Uh-oh. It was the eyes I was uh-ohing to.
The dramatic effects of a storyteller.
Let's go.
Yes or no?
Yes or no?
That's the question.
Yes. Because I don't like no.
No one likes no.
No. Yes.
Right or left?
Right.
Right. Right side of everything.
Yes. Because who wants to be wrong?
Very, very true. Hot or cold?
Hot.
Up or down?
Up.
Sun or moon?
Oh, that's a tough one. I like them both. Does it have to be one or the other?
I suppose not, because it's just a question.
All right.
You could.
I'm going with both on those.
Both.
I love both.
Day or night?
Day, because I can get more done, more productive.
On or off?
On.
Car or plane?
Car.
I promise you it's almost over with. Walk or run?
Let's go with run.
Cold shower or hot shower?
Oof. I've tried the cold shower thing. I understand the value of it, but I'm a middle of the road. Again, lukewarm. I'm not going with hot or cold.
Have you heard of a Nordic shower?
Or I don't know the term.
Or no, it's called a Nordic plunge. So Nordic
jumping in the freezing ice cold water.
Well, yeah, they alternate. So what they do is they have a sauna set up, right. You know, it's always cold in Norway anyway.
Right.
So what they have a sauna, and then what they do is they go outside and they plunge into a pool, and for like just a minute, and then they get back out and run back into the sauna and warm up for like 3 minutes.
That sounds mental.
And then they do it again. And they run out for another minute and plunge into the cold water, and then they just do it 2 more times.
Yeah, there's some medical benefits there. I think that's why they're doing it. The cold is good for the muscles, but yeah.
I take alternating shower, or at least I used to in the past, but something happened to our water heater afterwards, and I go...
So you were kind of forced into it.
Oh, I wonder what happened. I wonder if my forcing the system to go back from cold to hot again did something to it. So ever since then, I really haven't done it, just because we have a brand new one. And
because now you don't have to.
Yeah, this new one too. Like, it's hard to adjust because it gets so hot. It's so temperamental. If you turn it too much to the left,
right, it just goes overboard.
And take too much to the right, it just goes straight to cold. I like that segue off of that. Reading or television?
Reading.
You like reading?
Well,
Audible. You like listening?
I just don't. I'm not a sit down and watch television. I'll sit down and watch a movie or a good series, but just random television, I won't. I don't.
Do you prefer eating in or eating out?
I enjoy both. We obviously eating out is a financial thing. You don't always have money to eat out all the time, but I enjoy eating out. Yes.
That's cool. I like the aspect behind meals myself, obviously. But I do like the fact that the only caveat to behind home cooking and eating out is that like there's despite the abundance that we have here in America, the ingredients and stuff are so hard to come by for like certain meals. So you're just stuck with the basics, in my opinion.
Well, there's a lot of themed or ethnically specific grocery stores for sure.
Do we have anywhere around the area?
And once you got to head a little more north into Virginia Beach and Chesapeake, but they're there. Absolutely, they're there.
Because all I know is about the Aldi's and Food Lion and Walmart.
Right.
That's all we have around.
Right. They have a very small international spice section, but yeah.
Okay. Are you an introvert or an extrovert?
What do you think?
I think you're an extrovert.
You can't do what I'm doing to be an introvert. No, I put myself in front of everybody and anybody I can in the industry, and there's no introvert here.
We will definitely get to your industry, and I promise this question are almost over. Movie theater or streaming at home?
It's the same thing. You can't go to the theater every time you want to watch something, but I do enjoy the theater. Yeah, I like getting out and getting that experience, the big screen, the sound in your face, and so theater's cool. But home is cool too, man. I love cuddling with the wife on the couch and watching a movie. That's always good too. Yeah,
well, even though I was young in the 90s, I was still aware of things because, I was growing up. In the I do remember going to the movie theaters in the 90s and stuff, and I believe I was between the ages of 6 and 10 in the 90s.
Right.
And everything, and the sheer aspect of, now that I kind of think of it, wow, it
was different then, though, too. Now we got our phones. Everybody can just watch something, whatever they want, whenever they want, where back then, if we really wanted to watch a movie, you had to go to the movies.
That was insane, right?
If you wanted to get out and get, but you don't really have to do that anymore with the home theaters, and it's just different times.
This one's going to be very controversial.
Uh-oh.
Marvel or DC?
Not a huge, don't get me wrong, I love both of those universes. They're fantastic. But I don't have an opinion on that. I don't.
Oh, really?
I don't. I'm not a diehard one or the other. I love them all. I just enjoy the heck out of all of them. So.
Gotcha. Football or basketball?
Not a sports guy.
Not a sports guy.
I grew up playing basketball, so if I had to pick one, I'm going to go with basketball.
I'm going to go over a lot more questions. I'm going to come up with more questions. This is just what I was able to come up with throughout the week. Anchovies or no anchovies?
No anchovies.
No anchovies. Soup or salad?
Both. I want my cake and I want to eat it too.
I have to ask. NASCAR or golf?
I went to in Darlington, South Carolina. I went to a race once, a NASCAR race. I enjoyed the heck out of it. That was fun. But that's my only experience with NASCAR. Again, I'm not a huge. I don't watch yours. I don't watch golf. If I want to fall asleep, I'll just go take a nap. But the NASCAR was exciting. That was wild. That was cool.
Spring or fall?
You're killing me. Both.
That is a legitimate.
They both have their benefits. I love the atmosphere, the vibe that the fall brings, but spring is just it's a rebirth. It's time to get out of the cold. Let's get rolling. It's summer. Wahoo! Let's go.
Summer or winter?
Summer.
That ends our rapid fire question. Now we can just kind of go into chill mode and whatever you want to talk about. Is there anything you would like to bring up in the talk?
Oof.
Any awareness you'd like to, or it's just about your overall thing? I know last time we talked about the fact of why you got into this and everything like that, and you mainly did it just for yourself.
Yes.
to begin with, and that was just your main concern was just to
having a really cool table for us, and that's what it was. This was never meant to be a business, never meant to be a thing. I was never meant to meet famous people in the industry, and it never was supposed to be that.
That was going to be my next question. So that was never your intention to begin with, nope. Anyways. But it blossomed from the idea of I could really do this.
Right. Once pictures started going, I posted on the socials. Our local game store north of us in Virginia Beach, Tower Games. My wife's cousin is actually part owner in there too, so it made it a little easier. Once he started catching wind of this, he started mentioning it to the store, and that was the second table I ever made. Was for one of the owners, Michael Frantz of Tower Games, also. So that's where the second one came into existence. So it just like, now it's like, ooh, I can make some money doing this. This is really cool. So that's how it started. And I'm like, all right, let's do something with this. And
I know we kind of skipped over the intro there too. Mike Jimenez, you are the owner and operator of the Weathered Dragon. So
yes.
Another question I have is, where did the name come from?
Weathered, obviously dragons, because everybody loves dragons and Dungeons and Dragons, so why not? But weathered is just in reference to the old and rustic part of all of this. The legs, the accents, they're all weathered. They all have that weathered look to it.
The aged look.
Yes, so the Weathered Dragon.
I like that concept.
At first, I'm going to be honest with you, I was a little, and I'm like, is it weird? Does it work? But I'm in cahoots with Todd Stashwick, and he loves it. He thinks it's classy as hell. So when Todd Stashwick, guy like him, says it's cool, I'm like, all right, it's good. We're going to just keep running with it.
So I have one. I do have another question now. I kind of see it. The lanterns for the electronic portion of the tables. How are they powered?
Right, there's one plug that powers the whole table, one plug to rule them all. You plug the table in and that controls everything. It's a 15 amp circuit. It's wired like your house would be, exactly underneath all the meat and potatoes. It's a fully grounded system, 15 amp circuit.
So how many ports does this thing have?
Ports as in actual outlets?
Yeah.
Each post has one. It has a grommet-style outlet. It's got your 110 and 2 USB plugs, and then the DM gets one of their own. Also, that's more of a specialty outlet. That gets 2 110s, a Type-C, and two USB-As.
So is that like a premium upgrade that you charge?
That's all standard.
That's included in the price?
In the base price.
That is awesome.
It's all included in the premium base price. Unfortunately, they're not cheap.
I can completely understand. And hopefully, one day in the future, I can afford to pay someone like you to build me an epic table.
I would love to,
because this is awesome. And so I did look more on your website, and I looked at your gallery, and the middle section comes out.
Yes,
correct.
Yep. The removable leaf topper in the middle is an option. My third table in the queue opted not to do a topper. They're the first ones. Everybody's always wanted one, and it is an upgrade. It is optional.
I believe I tried asking the question. I'm not sure if I was either probably more direct or even I was being understood by it. But so your inspiration from weather, do you like aged looking stuff?
I
is
do.
Is that kind of like where it kind of fits into the theme of like medieval and stuff?
Yes.
So you like aged looks and stuff.
I love it,
and that's why you kind of came up with this term, the Weathered Dragon. So that's really cool that you're able to do stuff like that. So the question I have about the middle table now is, can it be electronic, or can you just request it to where you can build a setup in the middle of miniatures and stuff and buildings?
Well, that's originally what the recessed game vault is for. It's for your terrain and your maps and stuff, for your 3-dimensional stuff. And once that topper comes off, it's got the lights too. There's quotes in writing on the game vault walls. People are having a good time customizing that from their favorite movies, whatever quotes. I have runic, Elder Futhark runes. I'm sorry, Angerthos Moria runes on my table currently. But you can pick fonts, you can pick quotes, fully customizable.
That's awesome.
And tons of people have asked me, Mike, can I put a TV in the middle? Of course you can put a TV in the middle, yes. But I want to work with a company that makes a square monitor to fit this comfortably. Like, everything's all about this energy, the posts are angled to the middle, the table's square, so there's a good symmetry and vibe and chi, like energy going on here. So I finally found something over the weekend. A buddy of mine, Chris Todd, pointed me to a company who makes LED mats. They're really flat, but their sizes are custom. You just tell them what size you want, and they get them to you. So I reached out to them, so I'm waiting on that response. So hopefully that will solve.
I've been hearing about those. I've been hearing about those flexible screens.
Yes.
So those actually exist.
Oh yeah, they roll out. They made one for a cruise liner. It was 60 foot by 40 foot, massive. I guess to go on the side of the boat. So yeah, they can handle a 44-inch square one. They can do that. So yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Something that just fit this perfectly. That would be fantastic. Fantastic.
I do remember watching a YouTube video clip about futuristic screens and stuff, and in Japan and like in some of their public buildings and stuff, they have screens that are wrapped around poles, but they're like videos, and they go like, "That's so cool." I wonder how they did.
That's what it does. They literally roll out. They're meant to be, I think, actually meant to be flooring. You can drive a car on them. They're super durable. They're thin as heck. Yeah. It's pretty wild. So I'm thinking, top or on, once we get the custom mat, you're just literally just rolling it out on top. Same, 44-inch square mat. Fills up the whole surface. GM can go to town.
Oh, so that kind of makes it easier for your customers to kind of do what they can.
Right. You're not dealing with a TV. You can take it out if you want, where a TV's more bulkier. This thing rolls up like it is absolutely perfect. It's perfect for what I'm doing here.
Well, that's pretty. You're going to try and do a segue with them, I would assume, and ask permission to advertise for them on your website?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily. I'm not. It would just be another option. Like, hey, this is the size I need, and if the customer wants one, I'm just going to order it. And
that's built into your prices.
Yeah, it would be an upgrade like anything else. It would just be another option to do.
My mind was going all over the place once you told me about your tables. I wonder if he would be down to like maybe build like a built-in dice tower of some kind.
Oh, we've thought about it, man. I want to do a pirate themed table where there's like barnacles and stuff and big heavy rope and I got all these pulleys and stuff. Whatever, just something to make it really like Pirates of the Caribbean themed, like really wild. But if we can't have a pirate table without a rum dispenser, so the rum's gonna go on top, little tap somewhere. So yeah, we're just.
That's so awesome! Like a keg,
yeah,
right?
Trying to be silly, but yeah, there's all kinds of ideas. So,
dude, that's pretty. You know what? You could totally make this into a reality show if you really wanted to.
Dude, there's no limit. There's no limit. None. No ceiling on this one.
I do like the overall aspect of your business, and I think it's really cool that you're offering something to the world and everything. And I know, like, there are certain players in the industry that have been there a long time. We talked about that off screen a while back, last week. Talked about like, am I allowed to mention names? Is that okay?
Company names?
Yeah, kind of like it.
Well, it's funny because I was about to when you were done. So go ahead.
No. Okay,
we're not. As long as we're not. I'm not. Don't bash anybody. But absolutely, you can bring up. Why not? Right?
So like Wormwood. So
that's where I was going to go.
This is not a detriment to Wormwood in the street. It's just as us having a conversation. But we did say that we did bring up the fact that Wormwood, they become so centralized in just their clientele and kind of not imaginative.
Wormwood makes gorgeous products. They're absolutely gorgeous, and it is top of the industry. I'm offering just something way different. It's apples and oranges, and if you want a gorgeous dining room table that converts to a game table, then Wormwood is what you want. If you want the Disney World of game tables with a little more thematics and I think a little more functionality, because we have 13 inches of actual player surface where Wormwood and other companies, that little perimeter lip is only about maybe 5. I don't know what it is exactly. There's just no room for the players to put anything. Yes, they offer all this cool clip-on stuff, makes it work, but this is just more of a one-stop package where it's just all here, and you don't need all this clip-on additional stuff.
So you are essentially the Walt Disney of the gaming world.
I guess people have said that before. It's the Walt Disney World of game tables, So yeah, I guess that could be a thing for sure.
So can customers also ask for like customs, even though it's like the Weather Dragon? If people wanted to, could they get their own custom image in the middle of the table?
Yes. All that stuff is. It is an option. Everything's optional. Sometimes customers don't want to put artwork on the inlays. The only thing I ask is give me one spot to put my logo somewhere.
Oh yeah,
obviously, because it's just.
I kind of like your logo. Who drew the logo?
I found that 5 or 6 years ago on Shutterstock. It's a place where you can go and buy images. It's
legally. There's no copyright.
So that's where that's from. But I modified that further. That's not the original image.
Oh, so you tweaked it
to really make it mine. So yeah,
that's awesome.
But the overall concept of the image is there for sure.
So, like we talked. You mentioned dungeon terrain and everything, and after that, what you were going to bring up something about companies and stuff. But the terrain itself, like, do you have storage for your terrain setup, or what do you do for your games?
I don't have a lot of terrain. Unfortunately, the table business has been a massive part of my life. I get to play a bit, but I haven't ran a game. I don't even know. My God, it's been 2 years, I think, since I've run a game, if not longer. So, I'll get people here and we'll play, but my buddy Chris will run, or basically everybody in our crew has DM experience, so we'll just alternate. But I'm too methodical, so if I'm running a game, it's going to take me a week to prep for it. And I just don't have that time. So it sucks. I'm itching to run a game. It's been a while. It's been a hot minute.
That is one of the trade-offs to building your own company and stuff too. You really do have to sacrifice some things, which is unfortunate but necessary.
Right. But I still play. So it's not a total I make sure I make time for it too.
And the fact that you switch out on DMs though, that prevents DM burnout, because DM burnout's a big thing.
It is because a lot of people don't want to DM. So yes, I'm very fortunate that my main group of people that I have here, I got to tell you, I think every single one of them can DM.
Do you find the collaborative story? Because I know the cooperative story aspect of D&D is what makes it so successful. So do you think players and storytellers or DMs feed off of each other?
Oh, absolutely. It kind of goes hand in hand, I think, for sure.
The overall aspect of storytelling itself, it does take kind of that saying, it takes a village to raise children.
Right.
Kind of a similar thing. It takes a group to tell a story, because it's a little bit boring. And then, not to mention, you have solo play, and then you have one-on-one, which there's nothing wrong with one-on-ones or even solo play, but there's nothing to feed off of, you're eating from an empty bowl.
Right. Each character / player adds a new ingredient to the soup, so it makes it taste even better. It makes it more intriguing. So yeah, you need that mix up for sure.
And like any slow cooker recipe, the longer a recipe sits for, the more flavorful it gets. So the longer a group's able to sustain that atmosphere, the stories become more in depth as well.
We keep doing this. We can do a D&D and food podcast next.
That'd be so. I have the two cookbooks out of my truck right now.
I got my Heroes cookbook. It's here somewhere.
And then I got Flavors of Multiverse. So
nice.
That's a good one.
Very cool.
And definitely a different style of reading for that one, because it doesn't go. It doesn't break it. It breaks it down into different universes. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Awesome. Can I drop a very, very exciting tidbit?
Go for it.
Oh my God. We just went international last week. I just took my first international order. And not just Canada.
Oh.
Not just Canada over the border. I'm talking... It was so trippy talking to this guy, because he literally said, can we set up a time for tomorrow, Wednesday at 11 p.m.? And I'm like, tomorrow, Wednesday, tomorrow's Tuesday. He's in Australia. This table is going... They are 12 hours ahead of us. And it was so bizarre trying to set up a conference, Zoom call for us to chat out hash out some details. But it was wild. He was like, I'm like, Wednesday? I'm like, dude, you're calling me from the future. It was so wild. It's so hard to comprehend.
It is so really Australia's already into the next day already.
Yeah, they are. They're not
quite yet.
What time? Almost.
You said
It's
12
almost.
hours.
Yeah, it's almost midnight there. So yeah,
That's
wild.
Like I remember I had a roommate back in '09, and she was applying for a position at a park at a park out in California, and then she said they said that it would be at 2:00, and I go, wait a minute, so you said this place is in California, and they're like, yeah, they haven't called me yet. It's like, yeah, but they're in California. They probably
Airtime.
or so no, it's 4:00, right? So it was like 4:00. Like they probably meant 4:00 their time, so it's not
7 here.
So
it's 3 hours difference.
So she had to have the interview at 7:00 at night.
Yep.
And that was and even though that was only like that time frame, I'm like that was a bit of a challenge for her just because it was so late in the day. So
Awesome.
but yeah, so it was like we were already doing it, and then we were waiting for California to catch up for her interview. So either way, yeah, I have a question for you. Do you believe in AI robotic uprising? Do you believe it's possible?
I believe it's possible. What those odds are, I'm not quite sure. When you got Elon Musk warning about it, you might want to take heed. The dude kind of knows what he's doing. So I think we need to be careful.
Elon Musk, given anyone can say whatever he wants. He's a smart dude. He doesn't have an actual earned income because he makes most of he uses very lightly. He uses the word. He uses stock in order to pay for his livelihood and everything, and that's kind of how he does it. But he was really smart in the fact of slowing down on the AI thing and saying, "Listen, we need to put some parameters in place and not rush into this." And I think like Messenger AI, like Facebook Messenger, like is really on point. It's really I've had conversations with the Meta AI algorithm, and it really is an ethical source. Like it avoids like topics of, or it avoids discrimination and it's an inclusive platform for AI. So I was kind of excited when Elon Musk stepped in and said, let's slow down on this and let's put some parameters in place, because the actions like that are actually helping us prevent like a Terminator scenario.
Cyberdyne.
A Skynet.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's like everything else. It's got its value in society, but I think we do need to be careful.
Yeah, one thing I have learned, one thing I do understand, though, is AI is only functional is if you interact with it. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't respond to it, it can't respond back to you unless you give it that authority. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's kind of like a ventriloquist with a doll, right? So the ventriloquist gives it personality, but once that ventriloquist pulls it away, it's just a dummy.
Right.
It's all it is. I got a serious. Did you want to bring up any of the business, like you were talking about?
As far as Wormwood goes, that's what you're referring to. Going back, I'm hearing a lot with my customers. This may be a little off-putting, but people have said to me, Mike, it's either you or Wormwood, and they didn't, had to make that final decision of, do we want this really thematic thing, or do we just want to stick with the, fancy and just, gorgeous furniture it is? But I've heard that at least 4 or 5 times, and customers have come my way. They want the thematic aspect of it. So
I really do. It'd be really cool. So your framework for going back talking about your business, your framework for your business, it's customizable business. Is that generally how it works?
Oh, yeah.
Customer can...
Yeah, every table is made to order. I don't just spit them out because it's such a, it is a high priced item. So people want to pick their hardwood. They want to pick their runes and their quotes and their artwork. So yeah, they're not. I can't just make one of these and hope somebody's gonna pay the price tag on it when it may not be exactly what they want. So
kind of like, have you ever seen the show Tanked?
I don't know if I have.
So it's a custom aquarium building company based off of Las Vegas, Nevada, and they build custom fish tanks for customers and stuff. And they do kind of like weird setup. Like they made a fish tank out of a car. It was pretty nuts.
That's wild.
So it's similar. So that's why I was kind of thinking maybe that's what you're doing at the same time, doing like unique builds. So
yeah, because the last 2 tables are the first of their kind. The current one I'm currently working on, and the one that just went out the door last month. So yeah, some people hit me with new shapes and new ideas. Oh yeah, absolutely. The one I'm doing now is called the Kraken. It's our octagon table that'll stay in the inventory as an option for customers. And the one before that was a hexagon, which we called the Chimera. So there's all kinds of fun names and shapes and sizes. So
I like it. I like the overall aspect behind like drawing and stuff because I'm trying to dabble in learning how to draw. And our overall thing is in our universe, there's 3 basic shapes. It's circle, square, and triangle. And with those, you can draw and build anything.
Right.
Now we can go on to some actual D&D questions.
Let's go.
What's your favorite RPG system?
Oof. I haven't dabbled in too many of them. I bought Chaosium's Call of Cthulhu. I did want to check that out. I haven't played it yet. Like minis, you buy 1,000 of them and you paint 4 of them. So, yeah, unfortunately, D&D 5e is my most familiar TTRPG system. But yeah, I do want to dabble. I'm in a Pathfinder stream with the Band of Badgers. So I'm starting to dabble in Pathfinder. I'm learning it, so I can't really say it's, the word favorite. I'm not a big fan of that word. I like a lot of stuff, but yeah. But D&D 5e is my go-to.
Yeah, and that's my go-to. Well, I think I may have talked about that last week, but I'm not blind to the fact that there are other systems out there. It's just that was the one I was introduced to, so that's why I'm so used to playing it. So, in the end, there's nothing wrong with that, too. That certain people are drawn to certain systems, so I guess that's why I'm just a huge fan.
Right. I'm also a big fan of, D&D 5e is very player-friendly. It's simple. Mm-hmm. It's a rule set. I don't like all the rules. I don't like the way they do things. Don't use them. You like a certain rule from another system? Grab that one and throw that into the mix. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah, and that's what when I DM and stuff, that's one thing I've learned is like just because these rules are set in place, I think the only time the core rule should be enforced is when you're in a combat scenario, and I believe that's the only time the rules should be put in place. Other than that, but not just strict rules though; they can be flexible, like you said.
Even devil's advocate to what you're saying, even if there are set rules for combat, right? Yeah. But even if the DM doesn't want to use those couple rules, if you're going to change them, make that known before you start the game. Don't halfway through mix it up in your players, and then they're going to be scratching their heads like, "What are you doing, dude? Like, really?"
Yeah, you can say
as long as whatever you're doing, just make your players aware of it before you start.
Yeah, you can tell your players, "Listen, I am willing to be flexible with the rules within reason," sort of thing. And let them know that we can even insert certain rules on the fly if we need to.
Right.
Is that what you're
talking
about?
And it's the rule of cool, and yeah, you just if you can't make a decision, roll the dice, roll the d20, and let the dice decide. If you can't come to an agreement, that's what
Brendan Lee Mulligan, he's done that quite a number of times on Dimension 20, where a player wanted to do some shenanigans, and that's what they call it. It's like, can I do something shenanigan? And that was kind of their code word for, can I break a rule?
Right.
And sort of thing.
Sure, roll for shenanigans.
Exactly. So that alone kind of opens up to the world of storytelling and the fact of what builds a dynamic group.
Right. My one specific thing is reactions when it's a player's turn. My buddy Chris is very go by the rules kind of guy. He's a professional DM. He knows every stinking rule there is. I would never challenge him in rules. But when it comes to reaction, it's when it's your turn. If you want to go, you can hold your action. So then, as your initiative order goes through, then if there's something you want to do, then you can kind of jump in and use your turn, and then that's your reaction. Me, I'm more of I don't care what your turn is in your order. A reaction is a reaction. If something is about to happen to one of your players and you want to react to try to stop for that rock from falling on his head or stop him from falling off the cliff, whatever, you can, and if you're close enough and it makes sense, I'll allow a reaction at that point, but that's your turn. Your turn is over then. You know what I'm saying? Your initiative order. Next round, your initiative order will continue as was, but a reaction is a reaction, so why not treat it that way?
I know when the system was being built, though, too, I know it wasn't pragmatic about the fact of when they were building the rules and everything, and especially when it comes to combat, because when it comes to combat itself is stuff just like in real life, things happen really fast. So how every round is dictated to 6 seconds.
Right.
So it makes total sense. Like it's like in a real world scenario, can that happen within 6 seconds? And you think about it, it's like, yeah, that's actually true. A lot can happen within a 6 second period. So
things change. A lot can change in 6 seconds.
Exactly. So it made sense to me when I kind of thought about it when I was sitting in the toll booth, and I was kind of thinking, I was like, you know what, that totally makes sense. Why whoever developed the system made it the way they did, because they knew they were thinking about real world reactions and stuff. So it was kind of cool when I sat there and thought about
it, and really put some thought into it. Yes,
I thought interesting. Leveling up or experience points? What do you think? Milestones. That's what I was thinking. So experience or milestones?
Milestones.
You like milestones?
Because I don't want to bog the story down with, all right, you just beat this guy and here's your experience points, and everybody's writing down experience points and adding them up. I just let's play the 6 hours. We're going to sit down and do this, and if enough stuff got done, okay, great, everybody leveled up for next session. Kind of thing. It's just simpler. I don't like too crunchy. I'm not that guy.
Yeah. So say you did like say you did a dungeon crawl, a massive one, not just a dingy one, like a massive.
Right. Where a lot of stuff happened, a lot of traps deactivated, a lot of puzzles solved, a lot of enemies fought, and then let's level up at the end of that.
Okay, because if you really think about it, if you were to do experience points in that scenario though, and then your players would go from like level 5 to level 15, depending on what you threw at them.
Right.
And then they would become sheer gods at the end of that just epic dungeon.
Right.
So milestone, I like that aspect too. Brent, I do. I just a disclaimer. I love Dimension 20.
He's good, Brendan Lee Mulligan. He is good. He's very enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, I know. And so far, there's he's also had 3 other people play. He's allowed 3 other people into his dome to be DMs, and it was Matthew Mercer. And then
Abria Iyengar.
Yeah, and
she is fantastic too.
Yeah, and then he also let Effie. I forgot his last name. One of the other cast members from Dropout, he allowed. It's called Shriek Week, so that was another thing. But I really enjoy Brendan Lee Mulligan. His voice acting is just subpar. He has so many different voices, like way more.
He's good, and he's very good.
Way more than I even have. Should flying cars exist?
Oh boy, no. There's too many friggin' accidents now, and now you're going to drop out of the sky. Save that for the planes, that stuff.
Yeah, I agree. I was like, people can't drive now on the road. What are you going to do when they're flying around?
God, there's
unique mashups. So last week I had an idea about like a Pacific Rim Battle Royale mixed with
Kaiju and Godzilla? Like, is that what we're talking about?
In a way, like my idea went a little bit further, but I'll go into the craziness after we kind of those type of things. So like a Pacific Rim Battle Royale or Fast and Furious meets spaceships. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I could see that.
What would be a unique mashup for you?
Oof. This is one of those questions where I need to think about.
Oh, those on the slide questions.
Yeah, this may not be a good response.
Okay, well, we can skip over that if you want to.
Yeah, let me stew on that one. Let's go to the next one.
We'll go back to that question. World building.
What about it?
What is your world? Do you homebrew or do you like pulling from the already built systems?
I like pulling from everything and anything, but again, I haven't ran a game in 2 years plus. But I love sitting down. I actually did try to come up with an origin story for the Weather Dragon and a world. So yes, there is the world of Varia, which is the land of where that all happened, and it has been fleshed out a little bit, not enough to where I'm using it in anything, at this point. But I did put some thought into it. But I love the creative aspect of world building. Yes, so yeah.
I know when I was building my world and stuff, I watched a few YouTube videos, and I actually took our real world technology, and I said, how can I reimagine that? The video was talking about reimagining real world technology in like a medieval scenario on what it would look like, and so like a tablet screen becomes a scroll that just is never ending.
Right. And it just keeps going, like a magical scroll almost that just keeps, that's kind of cool.
And then like a security camera would become an arcane eye, and that would be like, so kind of like Sauron's eye. I have Sauron.
Or did you see the new 3-Body Problem series on Netflix?
No.
That is wild. They have a thing, a 3-Body Problem. There's aliens, and they created this master. I guess it's a computer sort of AI thing called the Sophon, and that is all-seeing and all-knowing. So yeah, check that out if you haven't saw that. That is sick. That is a crazy series.
There was one more thing on the YouTube video. It was about a vending machine. So it's an arcane vending machine. So I had like the items like you see in a vending machine, but I had like little symbols like. And you had to have that particular like gold, copper, or silver piece in order to purchase the item that was inside.
That's funny.
I thought so.
When it comes to homebrews and world building, I don't know if we talked about this last time, but there's another division of the Weather Dragon called the Weather Dragon Press now, run by a customer of mine who is a professor, and he's got all kinds of degrees and all kinds of fun stuff. But they're all that. He does one-shots, so he is huge into the world creation and world building, and I think one of our larger projects is going to be Oath of the Table Keepers, where, hopefully a lot of my original stuff of my Weather Dragon, homebrew ideas will fall into that, so that's going to be a wild project, too.
Oh, that sounds exciting.
Yeah, Sam's doing. Sam Hamilton is the guy, and he is a phenomenal dude, and he's doing some really cool stuff. But there's some tidbits of all that on the website too, under the publishing aspect, and in our shop, there's free downloadable one-shots created by Sam Hamilton from the Weather Dragon Press. So check those out. Yay.
Let's do one more plug-in so that way I understood everything. So we are now going to do a plug-in, and hopefully we can edit this out or edit this in some way that makes it entertaining. But so on your website, there are free downloads.
Yes. One-shots, free one-shots.
Free one-shots.
And we have licensing from a mini company. I'm not even going to, I think I'm going to murder the name, so I'm going to leave that one alone. But once you check it out, there are minis that go with the one-shot. The minis are not free. You have to pay for those. But if you wanted the minis for the one-shot, you can purchase those. So we're starting to become this whole one-stop shop. Get your table, get your one-shot, get your minis, and it doesn't stop there. My buddy Joe is a maniac, known me since I'm in diapers. He's just a creative madman. This guy is. He's a musician. He's a computer junkie. He's going to be writing music and soundtracks for those modules as well. So if you're into the full immersion, the Weather Dragon is going to become a one-stop shop for all of it.
That is going to be exciting to see your growth. I look forward to that.
We're only getting started. Like I said, no limits, no ceiling. We're going to disappear into the sky. We're going to get so high.
That's awesome. So, developing stories. Where do you get? What kind of story? When you used to DM, I know you're more of a player these days. So your stories, your DMs come up with them on the spot, or are they in depth?
The DMs that run stuff, most of their stuff is homebrewed, I'm going to say, for the most part. The stuff that I've run when I was DMing, when I got back into it, I ran Lost Minds of Fandelver first from the starter set, because that was the first thing I picked up. kind of never really finished that, but continuing further, the big D&D books scared the heck out of me. They're just too intimidating, too big, too much. So I was, after looking around, found Kelsey Dion from the Arcane Library. Her stuff is absolutely fantastic. 5e written content, super simple, few pages. These are your points. This is where your basic beginning, middle, end. Very easy to incorporate. I was able to throw in my own ideas and a couple twists here and there with no huge thing, but Kelsey Dion, Arcane Library, fantastic stuff there.
So, do you believe in multiple options for players at the end of a storyline? Do you think it's better to give them multiple options for choices that they make in game?
Oh, absolutely. Player agency is huge. I don't believe in railroading sandboxes. Again, I don't have the DM brain to put somebody in a sandbox. It's not going to be the best outcome for my players. That my games need to be linear. So if I'm throwing a tidbit at you, I need you to follow it. Because if you squirrel off in another direction, it's just not going to be good for anybody. Because I'm not that good on the fly to come up with stuff. Just like before, how we kind of needed to push that one question. I need time to stew on stuff. I'll give players a great session, but it's got to be linear.
I think there is a balance, because railroading seems to get a bad name, but in a general sense, there needs to be some sort of railing or path to follow.
Right, which is where the linear term comes in. These are the crumbs. I just need you to follow these crumbs. You can get silly and get weird and do odd stuff in the meantime, and I'll figure it out. But perfect example, when I was running something from the Arcane Library, Mask of the Worms, my one player was fixed on the little helper person. It was was it the child? We had to send back to the village because stuff just started getting weird in the manor. She wanted to go to the village and I was trying to push her back. No, we don't want to go to the village, because that character was irrelevant. I had no backstory for that. They just went away and that was it. But this character latched onto that and wanted to go find this person. So I had to just keep doing what I could to push them away from that and back to where they were supposed to go. So that's what I'm talking about, where it gets weird, where I need them to stay linear.
The overall relationships that players develop with the NPCs that we create, which is actually the next question, but creating people and that players latch onto, that for me is the best feeling in the world, knowing that a player can latch onto a relationship that you've developed in your mind, and realizing that was, and I think a reason why behind that is that's a need that player needed to be filled, which is why they latch onto those types of characters that we create. Do you agree?
Oh yeah, oh absolutely, because that I may be getting this mixed up, but that character, I'm pretty sure it was a young girl. She did have a spot and did wind up connecting with my one friend that she was pushing for. And at the end of it, she came back in. They gave each other a big hug. So it was this big emotional moment, too. So the emotional ties are huge in the game, too. And I think they can be created with the NPCs and not just between characters.
Which is where I believe the mental health benefits begins. I think in those instances, placing a player in a world and letting them know that you exist within this world and you have your agency to do what you want with it, but then adding those relationship aspects to it is what is, I believe, one of the foundations of mental health, is developing a healthy foundation of a relationship with something or someone.
You are absolutely going to love this even more with my international order. The guy has his master's in counseling. He's using Dungeons and Dragons as therapy in his new practice that he's building. That's what he's doing.
That's awesome. I wish I was certified to be able to get into that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But schooling here in America is so expensive.
It is for sure. So yeah, I thought you'd get a kick out of that, man.
No, later today. Send me a link to. Does he have an established website?
I think he's just getting it started, which is why he wants the table. He's using the table for the business.
If you don't mind, We'll talk more about that. No, I don't mind, you know what? I don't mind the audience hearing this. Listen, have him reach out to me because it'd be really nice to talk to him and even have an interview with him about this sort of stuff. Because sort of thing behind Perception Check is to open up our reality and our minds to the world around us.
He would be more than willing to talk about it. Hell yeah!
That's not a new concept though either.
It's not.
It's called play therapy, and play therapy is really beneficial. And I think needed because, like, have you heard about the rate of suicides in even high schools? It's staggering. And
yeah, it's tough, especially with the social media and the isolation and the bullying and the.
It's funny how the technology and the internet has opened us up to a whole new world, and yet the world still feels small.
Right. Yeah, and it can almost be made smaller, if it's not used properly. So. Yeah.
So I guess go back creating NPC. Do you have any unique NPCs that you used to use as a DM?
Nothing worthy of that. This character was so great. I'm going to hold on to him and keep him in a folder kind of thing. Again, the few adventures I did run were mostly published adventures, so not necessarily my own. So I just used theirs, and if I had to create one on the fly, it was just some generic, thing. So
the characters I come up with, they're kind of unique. Each one has their own voice, and there was one. It was a grumpy man, and he says, "I am a very grumpy person, especially after I don't have a meal and a nap afterwards."
Nice. No, that's cool. That's cool. You need all that. You need the personality. They got to have their quirks. They need their quirks. So yeah, good stuff.
And then I have another uplifted one, and the catchphrase is, "Could be worse, and stuff like that. So I'm like, how when it comes to what you think you sound like versus what people think is hear you sound like, I'm wondering, even though I'm doing the voices, I'm wondering, are people actually hearing those voices, or
the way I'm hearing it? I hate my voice. I hate talking. So yeah, I don't even know how I sound. I can do a couple. Accents and stuff too. So yeah, when I'm DMing, I try to get into all that because that's what makes it more fun too. For
more interactive too, more in depth when it comes.
And that's what's good. How the players know they're interacting with an NPC that they were previously. If you can pull up that accent and separate it for each different player, then it makes it more unique.
And I believe that's also what helps build a character's relationship with an NPC at the same time, just the overall personality behind it.
Yep.
Cultivating relationships. A lot of those questions tying together with creating NPCs, but cultivating relationships also extends to the real world. So I know, cultivating healthy relationships here on a table with a group of friends can be taken out into the real world. What do you think about those concepts about developing healthy relationships?
Oh, that's when D&D was first created. It was all about gathering and hanging out and telling a story. So yeah, you can't beat that human interaction. I'll get me around a table any day versus a Zoom game or a Discord game. It can still be fun, but it's not the same. No way.
I have to agree. There's online gaming and stuff, and you just mentioned it too. It's really not the same. Yeah. Playing against someone, you're playing with someone technically, but you're not really developing a relationship with that person at the same time.
Right. No, it's cool because I've met, like I said, the guys from the Band of Badgers. They're from the UK. I would have never had friends from the UK. He reached out to me one day, David Cresswell. He's like, "Mike, I love what you're doing. Can we get you on for as a guest for one of their Dragonlance?" I'm like, "Sure." So it's fun as heck. Now I got friends in the UK. I'm getting to know people all over the world. So it has its benefits, for sure. Connecting with people that I normally never would have, going back 30 years ago. But put me around a table with these people is what I would really prefer.
I know. I got a Dragonlance board game for Christmas, so I thought
Warriors of Kryn.
Huh?
Warriors of Kryn.
Yeah,
I have it too. I browsed through it, but I haven't played it yet.
Yeah, and then the instructions were quite clear. Do not open this until you're ready to play it, or at least there was leveling. I guess depending on whatever level you were at the time, and they recommend open this when your party reaches this level. So I was like, okay, so this is like, obviously this is not a short game, this is a long game.
Right. It can be used as a standalone, I believe. You don't need the module. You don't.
Really?
You don't need the campaign book to play it.
I'll go back and look at the board game again.
I'm pretty sure it's a standalone thing also.
OG D&D or 5th edition? Well, you and I were both
when I first started, I played AD&D with Thaco.
Oh, yeah?
That's how I first started, but I don't remember crap about it. What's funny is, 2018, when I get back into D&D, start talking to my buddy Rick about it. He's like, oh, my buddy Matt plays. Matt's an older gentleman. He's I don't, Matt, don't shoot me. I don't know, 60-ish. I'm just going to leave it there. He's been playing D&D since it first came out and hasn't stopped. No break. He's been playing for probably almost 50 years. So the dude's a madman, loves D&D, loves everything I'm doing, and he's been such a fan of mine, and I love him to death. When I first got back into D&D, played with him, and we did 2nd edition. We went back to Thaco back then, and so I had to kind of revitalize all that. But as we progressed and moved along, I switched to 5e. So.
Well, I would have to agree. I wouldn't even know where to begin with the OG system.
It's a little complicated.
Is it?
It's yeah, but each system has a special place in my heart. That's where I started when I played. I'm 47 years old. When I played from like 13 to 17, 13 to 18, it was AD&D. That's what we played.
Pretty neat stuff. I know I'm going on to the next set of questions, and I'm learning to be more D&D in life, so learning to be the best nerd I can be in real life.
Yeah.
And it talked about tiers, like there's 3 tiers of play in Dungeons & Dragons, and they say essentially you can bring that to the real world, right? So the 3 tiers of play is exploration, social interaction, and then combat. Or conflict resolution. Because obviously in the real world you can't go and cast fireball at people or swing an axe at them.
You gotta be careful. You could. It's not gonna end well. But
not gonna end well for anyone.
No.
What do you like about the exploration aspects behind...
You're saying exploration.
Exploration, like...
Oh, exploration.
Exploration.
Oh, okay, sorry. I heard exploration.
I said it...
Like what's expiring?
I say stuff a little bit too fast sometimes, and one thing I'm learning from this conversation, it's going a lot more fluid than I thought it would, and I'm really happy that even me just looking at you and looking back at the notebook every so often, I felt a lot more comfortable than I did. I'll be honest, our first interview, I was nervous,
Of course.
And then I felt awkward because I was making myself feel awkward. I know that you weren't getting that vibe off of me, but I felt really awkward.
You hit it well.
Huh?
You hit it well.
I rolled very high in deception.
You did. You passed that charisma.
Yeah.
Charisma save.
So exploration of the world is essentially what that means.
Okay.
So exploring, like in Losing City, like we have tons of stuff. We can go out and like view and look at the water and even the history. And the history behind Losing City is astounding.
The story behind Palin's Alley is cool.
Well, there's a story behind Palin's Alley.
It's simple, but the name Palin, the family, I don't know time frames and dates, but I'm assuming it's somewhere around the 1800s, late 1800s. The Palin family basically, again, I could be wrong here. I'd have to go back and check my history. They settled the area or were major. They just had a lot of money. They had the industries up and they boosted and just got the town up and going. So that's why they named that alley after them.
That's what I never knew that about Losing City. I know I recently read a book, and it was called Jim Wilcox meet Nell Crosby, and it ended up being about her being murdered, and he was convicted of her murder and everything, and so it was just a huge thing. But the thing I liked about reading that book was just learning the history behind Elizabeth City and how Elizabeth City looked like just any other town that was being built up in the 1800s. Muddy streets because people rode horses back then, and you know what horses do, they go poop, and so it's just mud.
Yes, they do.
Mud and feces riddled streets, and then like even the fire department, like it was a volunteer basis back then where people volunteered to be firefighter, and they had their very first fire truck, but it had to be pulled by horses.
Right. So it was more a tank. They were just pulling a tank with a hose on it.
Exactly. But so I love the overall aspect of like in going to talking about D&D and you know playing in fictional worlds and stuff. Just the worlds that some DMs are able to create are so immersive and stuff, including like Matthew Mercer's world and stuff. It's astounding.
It is. It's fun. It's fun. That's why I'm doing all this, man. I told you, it's my midlife crisis. And it's a pretty cool one.
A very healthy one, I think.
It is.
Because
it's productive, and yeah.
And you're not sitting around, and you're not wasting a lot of money. You are spending money, but it takes money to spend.
Right.
To make money.
I'm not wasting money. I'm investing my money. You know, any money spent towards business for conventions, because they can get a little pricey. Just driving alone, the money I spend in fuel and hotels, it does add up, but it's all worth it. And it's unfortunately what I need to do. I say unfortunately, but meaning you have to invest in these things for this type of business, or it's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
People need to put eyes on this. Once they see it, the eyes light up, and they're like, "Oh, what's woo?" They look at everything, because my whole booth is pretty thematic too, and they're just like, "Wow, this is just freaking cool." Because pictures only go so far. Pictures and videos, they tell a good tale, but it's not the same as seeing it in person.
I have a similar thing when it comes to reading and stuff. Like there are e-readers out and everything, and I've read ebooks. So don't get me wrong, I've read ebooks, but there's something I like about physical holding the book. The
smell of the paper and I agree.
And the feel of texture as I turn each page.
Right. Now again, I'm not a huge reader in general. Like, I don't have the stamina to read. When I go to read, it's going to be at night when I'm laying down. I'll read 2 pages and I'm done.
Yeah.
So I just don't have the stamina to read. So I just do audiobooks. It's easier.
You're not the only one. I know a lot of people in my life who actually aren't readers. They do exactly what you do. They listen to the books and stuff.
But I love the books. I love books. I love to pick them up, and even if I am just browsing through them, to be silly, to just look at the pretty pictures, or to, just read a couple passages. But I like books, so I like to pick them up.
Social interactions. Do you believe they're necessary?
100%.
What is? Give me a. Can you? I know you say you're not good at coming up stuff on the fly, but
we'll try.
Give me a scenario of what you think it looks like a cool social interaction. Like, what kind of activities would your ideal situation be in for a social interaction?
Give me context. Like, just a random social interaction?
Random, yeah. So say someone. So say like a player, or like say some random person on the street just comes up to you and they just wanted to talk.
Yeah, as long as it's cool talk, nerd talk. I'll talk to anybody. I guess perfect example here at social interaction at GaryCon. A couple weeks ago. It's more towards the evening. The dealer hall's closed, so now we get to mingle. We can go pick up a game and just go find a table and just sit anywhere in the resort. And there's just people everywhere playing games. That's what it's all about. So we pick a room, we find a table. We're trying to figure out what to do. I think I was only with 2 of my crew at the time, and they had. I got to go whatever. They had to go do whatever. They disappeared. I'm sitting by myself. I'm putzing around on my phone for a little bit, uploading some pictures to Instagram. I get up. I said, it's time to relocate. But before I leave, I got my business cards. Go to the table next to me. Hey, sorry to interrupt. My name's Mike. I'm in the dealer hall. Just quick introduction, what I am, what I do. Drop business card. Go. There's a bigger table, like 5 or 6. Guy sitting next to me was by himself. Hey, how you doing? I'm Mike. Hey, I'm Carl. This guy we hung out with him for the rest of the time there. He was so freaking cool. He's a creative nut too. He runs games, but all because I made that social interaction. We talk about introvert, extrovert. Nope, I'm an extrovert. I'm going to say hi, and I'm going to introduce myself, and that's what I did. And I have him. I got his phone number, and like I said, he hung out with us the rest of the time. It was that cool of a social interaction. So, yeah. And again, I'm a make things happen kind of guy. I don't let opportunity fly away. So,
combat. We kind of already talked about combat a little bit. Conflict resolution is what really the book I read. It's instead of combat, conflict resolution and stuff like that. So you just can't go and cast a fireball or a shield of ice at someone.
Not everything can be solved with a sword.
Unfortunately,
sometimes you got to use your brain.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
The many roles of a dungeon master and the hats they wear. They play arbitrary. They play
referee,
and then storyteller, and then the many
NPCs. You're an actor.
What do you think is the most challenging role of a dungeon master is?
That could be different from DM to DM. Like I said, for me, it's squirreling me into a completely different direction is not going to be good for anybody because I just don't have. I don't. Not that I have to be fully prepped for every single aspect because I know that's in D&D. That's not even forget it. Because if that's what you think is going to happen, just go do something else. But I need a couple of bullet points or ideas if we're going to go in a certain direction.
I feel you. Do you think D&D can be related to the real world?
Absolutely.
Well,
I mess with my kids all the time. When they're doing something, I'll just roll for it. Not that we're literally going to roll for it, but or they did good. Like, oh, you passed your athletics test check. So I'm constantly relating D&D to the real world all the time, and they just shake their heads. Come on, Dad.
Engaging encounters, I guess that kind of ties in with the social interaction. Do you have any stories of any other engaging encounters that you've experienced throughout your life?
Oh, I'm sure, but this might be one of those I got to dwell on it questions.
No worries. We'll probably come back, and we might not even get to that question again, and it might just pop into your mind before I even leave here today. What does the classes we pick as players say about us? Do you have any thoughts on that?
I think it could be a reflection of our inner self, maybe, on who we would like to be, and then that gives us a chance to act that out, which is... So, yes. It keeps us in a safe zone, but on the other aspect, we might not want to stay in that zone, and we want to expand and try something new, which is what this is all about.
I agree. Homebrew world and homebrewing magic items. If you had your ideal magic item, what would it be?
Oof.
Is that another one of those questions that you talked about?
Oh man. Let's go this way. If I had a superpower, you know what it would be? So we can turn this into a ring, all right? So we're going to have the ring of maybe unending knowledge, where if I was standing anywhere on the planet, I can just focus and concentrate, and in that one particular spot, and I needed to know, like if I was an investigator or a detective or something, and it was solving a murder, I needed to know what happened on this spot 20 years ago, and I have the ability to just go back in time and I'm there, and whatever happened on that spot 20 years ago, I'm seeing it and feeling it. How cool would that be?
That would be awesome.
Because you would have everything. You would have the answer to everything.
That's a cool. I think I might add that to my world. As you come across an innate golden ring, has arcane ruins written all over it.
There you go. But that's cool. That would be my superpower if I can do it.
What do you think the benefits of playing like tabletop and games like Dungeons & Dragons. What do you think about that? What do you think of the benefits? I know I told you about what I think the benefits are. What do you think some of the benefits are from the game?
Relationship building and dealing with, even if people may not know they have like social anxiety, but maybe they're that introvert. So relationship building and dealing with that social awkwardness or social introvertedness absolutely will help.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
I'm looking at some of the questions I have on this sheet, and they really are some of the ones like that
I'm not going to want to answer.
You're more than willing to answer questions. I've noticed, but I know you don't like off the fly questions.
Right.
Where so I'm going to probably skip to the next page. A little bit more in depth questions because maybe here. This is one question. What makes a superhero super?
Ooh, well, in the trope aspect of that question, it's usually their powers. Superman has a good ethics to him too. Anybody can be a superhero. If they're just a dad that's just there for their kids, and firefighter doing his job and rescuing families out of a burning building. They're superheroes in my eyes too. So you don't have to be able to levitate and breathe or shoot fire out of your eyeballs to be a superhero.
You actually answered two questions at once.
Nice. Look at that.
Look at you. So who is your everyday superhero?
Oof. My wife.
Your wife?
She's a nut. She does everything and anything for anybody when she can, and yeah.
That's a touching thing. And I know good adage to your wife.
We're going on over 30 years together.
That's awesome.
We've been together since I'm 17. She's 15.
Wow, that's cool.
And we're old. I'm 48 in like 2 weeks.
You don't look 48.
Thank you.
You don't look 48 years old.
I try not to abuse myself too much. I'm slacking, but I used to have a decent exercise regimen. It's balance. I don't eat the healthiest, but I don't eat the worst. I try to throw some healthy crap in there, but I got a sweet tooth like most people, so it's all about balance.
What makes a hero?
That's going to be... I think that's a mental thing. You either... Mindset. There you go. It's your mindset. It's what's going to make you... I'm going to go with that.
Okay. I'm just going over the overall questions of each one because of what... Okay.
Not to be redundant,
because we've already gone over that. Okay, what challenges do you think they face on a daily basis?
They?
Yeah.
Who's they?
No, superhero. Like heroes.
Oof. Everything. Look what cops got to go at. This is getting political. We don't want to do that, but it's not easy being exceptional. It's not. That's a struggle. You really got to put yourself out there to...
Donald Trump... No, it wasn't Donald Trump that said it, but I read it in a book, and it says you can't carry a big torch without singeing a few hairs.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, that's all for that question, because literally we went over all that already in our previous questions too. So I believe... Yep, this is the last page that I have for our interview.
May have to cut that a little short.
No, I'm only going to ask the very top questions because I really like it. And I'm going to ask the very last one.
Let's go. What do you got?
Last two questions. First one is alien abductions and moral dilemmas. So my question...
An alien abduction could be a moral dilemma.
It really could be. So I have a morally ethical question for you. If you were abducted by aliens and they gave you a choice saying, okay, we can either experiment on you and let you go, or you can come travel with us throughout the universe and learn everything there is to know.
Wow.
And we will leave an identical clone copy of you. This clone will know everything you know, will act exactly how you act. Will do
nobody will know I'm gone.
Nobody will be
saying?
like you were never even gone.
Wow. To explore the universe. Ooh, that's a tough one. Wow. I don't know, man. That's something I never thought about. That's a good one. Oh, man. I don't know if I could do it. I don't know if I can answer that question.
That's
because, like, how the heck do you? Wow, that's a hell of an opportunity. I don't want to be probed though either. What kind of experimenting are we talking about?
Let that be imagination.
Do I ever get to come back after?
Nope.
I never come back.
You never come back.
I'm gonna have to let him probe me and come home.
Fair enough.
As much as I'd want to know the universe, but I don't think I'd want to not be able to come back.
And I'm pulling this from a series I'm watching on Dropout TV. It's called Interview with Interesting People. It's like, what do you think the meaning to life is?
That's a loaded question, too. I struggle with my faith, so I'll throw that out there. You know, I do believe there's something out there. What that is, I have no idea. I'm not even going to pretend to comprehend what's pulling the strings on all this or what started all this. You know, everybody's got their own version, you know, with religion, you know, aspect. So it all comes down to just being a decent human, helping your neighbors and just be cool. Just get along with everybody. Right?
I like it.
I tell my kids, I got 3 kids. One out of high school, one about to be out of high school, one still in high school. And my advice to them was, don't be a D-bag. Don't be a douche. Just be cool with everybody. When I was in high school, I was friends with the nerds. I was friends with the cool guys. I was friends with everybody because that's how it was back then. And it's practice what you preach, and that's what I did. So.
Well, audience, you've latched onto this conversation long enough to get to the end of this.
Thank you.
Wonderful
Thanks
interview.
for sticking around.
Thank you. Yes. And this interview was with James. Mike. Got smacked in the face there, guys. So, Mike, thank you. I appreciate you sitting down, and I believe this conversation was a lot more in-depth than last time.
Definitely was.
But no, and I appreciate your insights and our conversation.
And my honesty, I think I was brutally honest. I try to be, too. I try not to be fake, because nobody wants fake people either.
And I completely understand that. So, this is Jeremiah from Perception Check.
And Mike from The Weather Dragon.
And you can always check us out on Instagram.
Definitely Instagram. And visit our website for free downloads and other cool stuff. Check back regularly.
And ladies and gentlemen, adventures to the world, this is Perception Check. May you always roll 20s.